Hello and welcome once again to our program DPR, the Petroleum Industry Regulator. Focus in this edition is the lubricants. Well, that's the technical name for some of the commonest products we use daily. They are the engine oil, the transmission oil for automatic gearboxes, gear oil, brake fluids, grease, and even water coolants. These products are used in our cars, generators, ships, boats. It will surprise you, even the bicycles and industrial machines in the oil and gas industry. Considering all the areas these products derived from the crude oil are used, you'll agree that there is the need for standards to be maintained to save the Nigerian public from some unscrupulous elements. Now, these people can attempt to cash in on the huge investment in this sector to make money. The responsibility to maintain these standards falls on a unit in the downstream division of the Department of Petroleum Resources. How do they go about this? We'll come back to you after the tidbits in the oil and gas industry around the world. I'm Sulaiman Alede. Good to see you again.
The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Dr. Emmanuel Kachiko, has praised the idea behind the International Biannual Health, Safety and Environment (HSE) conference, stressing that the conference, which started in 1979, has created not only the awareness on the dangers posed by environmental degradation, but also has led to formulation of various policies to counter these challenges in the country as it relates to the oil and gas industry. Among the policies are monthly Environment Sanitation Day, which has subsisted in many states of the Federation, and the establishment of the Federal Environmental Protection Agency, FEPA, and by implication, the subsequent establishment of state environmental agencies.
The Environmental Impact Assessment Decree Act that also arose, all this came from that. The implementation of the Offshore Swamp Area Personal Safety and Competence and Accountability Systems, OSP, also arose from deliberations from this conference. The implementation of standardization in in-country safety training centers and the setting up of those centers also came from these conferences.
Dr. Kachiko said that the environmental sustainability, as it relates to the theme of the conference, is one of the key components of the President Muhammadu Buhari's administration's 7 big win initiatives for the oil and gas industry. The Director of the Department of Petroleum Resources, Mr. Monica Ladan, said if Nigeria is to continue to benefit from the vast petroleum resources, now and more than ever is the time to build sustainability into prospecting, drilling, production, transportation and usage, as well as management of its waste. Mr. Ladan made the pronouncement at the 18th International Biannual Health, Safety and Environment Conference held in Lagos. He said the task should not be left on the shoulders of the Department of Petroleum Resources alone, but all stakeholders.
This year's conference promises not only to probe deep into many literacies and challenges facing sustainable development of the oil and gas industry, but also provides a platform and framework for further innovative and practical solutions.
The DPR director stressed that the Department of Petroleum Resources and the parent ministry believe that a lot is still achievable in the quest for sustainability in the oil and gas industry. He then invited all stakeholders to join in making that a reality. The 18th International Biannual HSE Conference with the theme Driving Sustainability in the Oil and Gas Industry through Improved Stakeholders' Environmental Stewardship attracted the oil and gas industry stakeholders.
This is a special announcement from the Department of Petroleum Resources. Gas is safe. Gas cylinders are to be kept outside. If you're buying LPG cylinder, look for NIS number on the cylinder. Exchange of gas cylinders with retailers during purchase is best practice instead of refilling from another cylinder. Buy gas from certified LPG plant. Repairing faulty gas cylinders is unsafe. For more information, visit the nearest DPR office or our website www.dpr.gov.ng.
It will interest you to know that there are 34 lubricants, 34 blending plants spread across Nigeria. Now, the total installed capacity of the plants is 120.6 million liters. They produce Lube products such as engine oil, transmission oil, brake oil, and grease to service about 11.55 million automobiles in the country. That's about 20 million motorcycles known as Okada, ships, oil rigs, and even bicycles. Well, the DPR is the policeman here for every manufacturer and importer to conform to standards. What are those standards required for these very important products? This report will give you every answer you need.
A lubricant is a substance, usually organic, introduced to reduce friction between surfaces in mutual contact, which ultimately reduces the heat generated when the surfaces move. Lubricants may also have the function of transmitting forces, transportation of foreign particles, or the function of heating or cooling surfaces. Hence, the property of reducing friction is called lubricity. The uses of lubricants go beyond automotive, marine, metal application, and industrial usages. They are used for many other purposes. These include baking, cooking oil and fat in frying pans. This is to prevent food sticking, and bioapplications on humans. Others include lubricants for artificial joints, ultrasound, and medical examinations. However, our concentration will be on lubricants for automobile and machines as they affect the Nigerian populace and the economy. Typical lubricants contain 90% base oil, most often petroleum fraction called mineral oils, and less than 10% additives. Additives, chemical engineers agree, deliver and reduce friction and wear, increase viscosity, improve viscosity index, resist corrosion and oxidation and aging or contamination. A number of additives are used to impact performance characteristics of the lubricants. Also, a good lubricant generally possesses some good characteristics such as high boiling and low freezing points. This is for the lubricant to stay liquid within a wide range of temperature. It must also have high viscosity index, thermal stability, hydraulic stability, corrosion prevention, and a high resistance to oxidation. There are many types of lubricants. They include engine oil with different varieties, gearbox oil, transmission oil, and hydraulic oil. Others include radiator coolants, grease of different varieties, air compressor fluids, gas motor compressor fluids, electrical oil, better known as transformer oil, and turbine steam fluid. Nigeria, Africa's largest economy, has one of the highest numbers of automobiles, machines, and industrial establishments that require lubricants to work. Statistics from the National Bureau of Statistics reveal that as at the third quarter of 2017, Nigeria had about 11.6 million vehicles on the road. Out of this number, 4.7 million are owned privately, while 6.8 million of the vehicles are registered as commercial vehicles, while 5,034 are registered as diplomatic vehicles. Within the same period, 250,100 of these vehicles were registered as trucks or articulated and luxury vehicles. From the same National Bureau of Statistics, 8 million motorcycles and tricycles were registered as well. From the Nigerian Ports Authority and National Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, about 200 ocean-going vessels were registered between 2012 and 2017, while 9,402 registered boats ply Nigerian waters. All these, including industrial machines, generators, transformers, oil rigs, and many others, use huge quantity of lubricating oil to run their engines, grease the joints of their machines to reduce frictions, as well as allow smooth running of their gearboxes with gear oil or transmission oil, power steering, and brake fluids. However, one cannot fail to acknowledge the huge sums of money spent by Nigerians to purchase these products.
We are doing this work for many years, but now there's many things that's happened now. You understand me? Like sometimes when you are buying some engine oil now, if you put it inside the vehicle now, the car begins smoke. Sometimes the engine will be okay before. When you put the engine oil will be dry inside the engine. So now we are seeing many expenses about the engine oil nowadays.
Indeed, a United States of America research organization, Research and Markets, USA, has it that by the year 2023, Nigeria will be spending about $683 million United States dollars on lubricants alone. In Nigeria, there are about 34 lubricant plants spread across the country with a total base oil storage capacity of 120.6 million liters. All these lubricant plants produce not only for the huge Nigerian market, they also produce for export. Some other plants also import some of the rare lubricants to make up for the shortfall. In the maze of these complex operations and huge quantity of supply outlets, there is no doubt that there are a few who would like to cut corners and capitalize on the massive demand for the products to make quick money. In the process, many innocent Nigerians have fallen victims of these corrupt people. Automobile engineers have postulated that the lifespan of a vehicle engine and other parts like the gearbox, the brake system, and other parts, if constantly in use, could be up to 8 years or about 350,000 kilometers. But bad lubricants could jeopardize this.
The problem we have for engine oil now, I'll beg government to stop people that share engine oil for outside, past filling station. If you get issue about engine oil, if you buy for filling station, if you get issue, if you go there, there's solution. But all these filling station people, both by the manager or the workers people, they bargain with people they say oil for outside. And then they support our own work. Me myself, I'm talking like this. My customer bought engine oil 4,800. I started in car. Past 5 minutes when you start the car, want to start with smoking.
So sometimes when you go outside, you see some people, all this black market, sometimes they will begin cook engine oil. You see them, so you accuse them. But there's nothing you can do.
A unit within the downstream division of the Department of Petroleum Resources, the lubricant unit, has been charged with the responsibility of monitoring and regulating the standards of lubricants manufactured in or imported into the country, as well as the establishment of the plants. In pursuance of the provision of the Petroleum Act of 1969, the Petroleum Regulations Amendment of 1988, and the Mineral Oils Safety Regulation states unequivocally that all applications for approval to construct, modify lube blending, waste oil recycling, oil treatment, petroleum jelly, transformer oils, technical white oils, pharmaceutical oils, and grease manufacturing plants shall be addressed to the Director, Department of Petroleum Resources. Beyond the establishment of the plant's permits and other conditions, the Department of Petroleum Resources, as represented by the Lube unit of the downstream division, monitors and controls products' quality. To effectively discharge these responsibilities, a laboratory is set up to monitor and test the quality of these lubricants using a set of parameters required for a standard lubricant. The parameters include specific gravity of the lubricant, flash point, pour point, viscosity, water content, insoluble content, and acidity level. Others are the total base number, sulfated ash content, penetration, and drop point.
We send blind samples to various labs. Okay, they don't know what the sample is and what the results are, but there's a set of standards that each lab must adhere to in testing for the parameters that are required. And so when they all carry out the analysis, they send the results to us and we compare and see. That way we're able to see who is way off. Okay, you shouldn't have significant differences in your results.
The regulation states that all the blending activities must be closely monitored by the representatives of the department, and this has been strictly adhered to by the Department of Petroleum Resources to save Nigerian motorists, industrialists, and commuters from unnecessary expenditure and hardship.
My, oh my, what a detail. You know, I love the part about the bicycle, but again, I'll tell you if I'm a cyclist or not. Antonia is already waiting to have a discussion with one of the arrowheads in this unit that makes sure that all the lubricant plants and importers of these important products conform to the set standards required in the industry. Over to you, Antonia.
Thank you for joining us on this segment of the program. I have with me today Mr. Amos Oliver Piribo. He's the Chief Chemical Engineer in the Downstream Division of the Department of Petroleum Resources. Mr. Amos, you are welcome to this segment of the program.
Thank you for having me.
How does your unit, the downstream section, how do you now monitor quality production of lubricants from those plants?
So the licensed plants are very much abreast as to what we do, and they ensure they do all they can to make sure that they stay on the positive side of our regulations to ensure that the products they produce are on spec.
Okay, in spite of all what you say you do in terms of checking and then taking samples, we know that there's still a lot of adulterated lubricants out in the market. What is responsible for this, and how do we check this?
Yeah, you're quite right. It's been a concern that the department had from time to time, found itself in trying to see how they can check. There are proliferation of substandard lubricants. From time to time, we have received reports from well-spirited individuals who have come up with complaints about how they have used some oils and they ended up with very, very devastating effects on their engines. And they have reported from time to time some sites they have observed which were not licensed. So what we do in our own case is to organize a coordinated raid on such kinds of sites, because they do exist. People want to play a sharp one. People have the penchant of wanting to bottle up just raw base oils. Just raw base oil, because a lubricant is not just base oils, but base oil with additives. So a better way to liken a lubricant scenario is with the food you cook. There are additives, that you add to the base oils. So without the additives, you would not have a complete lubricant.
For the ordinary man out there, are there any indicators to look out for him to know that these lubricants are genuine and these ones are not? Are there simple things you can educate them on what to look out for? So
my advice to the ordinary man out there is ensure that in your trying to source for lubricants, source for them at licensed locations. And by licensed locations, we often advise that there are filling stations, there are retailing points. DPR licenses various locations where lubricants are to be retailed. And part of the requirements that we look out for in issuing these lubricant retailers licenses is to ensure that whoever is retailing these products is affiliated to one of the over 50 licensed blending plants, because these plants have been evaluated via our processes, and we have checked off on the fact that they produce quality lubricants from this plant. So if you're going to be marketing or retailing any products from any licensed lubricant blending plant, you have the endorsement of the department. So that location is certified safe to dispense, to handle, and to attend to customers that come there to buy. But you find a scenario where people go to buy lubricants in unbranded, perhaps they tell you the price is ripe. It's like being penny wise, pound foolish. What you are doing without knowing or knowingly is you are buying base oils. You're not buying lubricants.
But some will say that that's what they can afford. Is there any way around this?
There's usually a price to that. So that's what you could afford at then. But there's a price there's a price you're going to pay for getting attracted to the current price you are considering.
So why should we even allow those selling by the roadside to remain in business if we know that they are doing a lot of damage, one, to the licensed and original people in this business, and then, of course, at a cost to those who are patronizing them?
No, DPR is not allowing them. And that is why DPR has created a licensing category that would house everyone that is going to market or retail licensed
But we
products.
still see them everywhere.
You still see them. Is
it beyond DPR?
Not necessarily beyond DPR. We do the best we could at every particular point in time to ensure that people get educated about the quality lubricant they should be buying, And from time to time, we organize these raids. In conjunction, I believe, with SON, some of these raids take place to ensure that people don't just out there adulterate other people's products.
Okay, so when we talk of these plants, is there any way DPR is encouraging indigenous people to participate in this business?
Yes. So DPR encourages local production of lubricants. One of the key cardinal objectives of the current administration is to see to the local production of lubricants. So DPR ensures that the interest of local producers is well protected. One of the ways we do that is to ensure that even the importation of raw materials are exclusively a reserve for the existing licensed blenders. So for instance, if you just come to DPR and say you want to import the raw material base oil, which ordinarily shouldn't have been a product that we should be employing if our lubricant unit of Kaduna Refinery had been up and running, but for operational exigencies, it's not yet up and running. So now we depend wholly on importation of base oils for our lubricant needs. So the license to import these base oils are exclusively given to licensed blenders.
So, in addition, apart from that, what other encouragement do you give to those who want to do this thing locally, apart from allowing, giving them the exclusive right to import them?
Well, the bulk of the other protectionist programs are commercial based. So the department is not a commercial entity that would go into all of those things. But we ensure that whatever technical base they require to be optimal in their operations, the department gives them all the support that they need.
Would you say that the downstream department has been up to it in terms of monitoring and regulating operators in this who are involved in the production of lubricants?
Absolutely, we have. By the way, we are structured via our network of field offices, zonal offices nationwide. We ensure that irrespective of where you site your plant, there's a DPR field or zonal office closest to you that would monitor your operations. So all of these are well captured. We have a network that ensures efficiency in monitoring and operations of these plants, irrespective of.
So on a final note, what word can you tell members of the public out there who are constantly using lubricants? What should be uppermost in their mind?
So I would want to implore the general public to believe Nigeria. We have over 50 licensed blending companies in the country. And the department, through its monitoring and regulatory activity, had ensured that these licensed companies are producing quality lubricants. You know, there's this popular maxim that people usually have that whatever is imported is better. But for the lubricant industry, especially in Nigeria, I can very much tell you that we have a lot of licensed blending companies that are doing extremely very well when it comes to the quality of the product they churn out. So just ensure that, one, you procure these products from licensed outlets. There are lots of licensed outlets. Don't go and buy from roadside in the quest to saving costs. Because, like I said, there's a cost that you will eventually incur, which you are not paying us at that time. So we want people to patronize licensed outlets in procuring their lubricants.
Thank you very much, Mr. Amos.
Thank you.
The Chief Chemical Engineer in the downstream division of the DPR. Thank you for your enlightening us about what you do, and then for members of the public what to look out for and how to patronize made in Nigeria lubricants, so to say.
Yeah.
Because from your word, you can't go wrong when you do that.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Well, in all of that, one thing that my producer omitted is even the wheelbarrow, because you can put the grease on the tires and so many other things that you can use all of this. But it's a wrap on today's edition of the program, and I hope you've been informed and educated on the length DPR goes to make sure you have the right product in your vehicles and machines, even the barrel. Now, you don't want to lose them. See you again next week. Bye-bye.